Hey everyone, I am back. I'm going to give you a minute to kind of get back into this new live here, and I'm not going to move anything or go any further because I know you're going to have to kind of come over from the old live and get into this new one. But for those of you who are catching this on the replay, you'll want to make sure that you leave a comment here on this to be entered to win one of the giveaways that we have. So I am just, okay, I see some people popping in now. I haven't moved anything. We were having some issues with the other stream, so we started a new stream. So hopefully we'll get it all figured out and this will work. I honestly don't know what's happening. So it's just really weird. YouTube has been giving me problems recently, even though I'm hardwired in, so I'm looking at the bandwidth settings and I'm in the green, so I'm good. So people are on to the new feed. Let me see, Kinnery wants me to send her the new link. So I just have to pop over to the Pinkfresh Studio's YouTube channel to find that real quick. So if you will all just bear with me, I would really appreciate that. So let's do this. Let's see, home. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if I can find it. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the old live. Okay. Hold on. This is a lot. This is a lot. I'm going to just get Kinnery this new link, and hopefully we'll all be good. Okay. How are you guys doing? Are you there? You found the new link. That's great. We'll see if many of you make it over. Yay, I found you again. Yeah, we're on the Pinkfresh Studio site, so we should be good. Hopefully we won't have any other issues on this new stream. Hello again. Hello again. I haven't moved anything yet because I didn't want you guys to get lost in the thing that we were doing. So anyway, you are as cool as a cucumber, my friend. Well, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I can only do what I can do. And YouTube has been such a pill for me lately. So if you are just coming back in, don't forget to like this video as well. Keep chatting. Don't forget to like this link. Yes, thank you, Stephanie. And then, of course, you'll remember from our last one that we have a giveaway here. We have a special going on for the release. I was just stamping the new, it's called, let's see, Dreamer's Forest rubber stamp here. And I am going to, this is my second stamping with the Versamark ink. We're going to heat set this here in just a moment. But I have all of this stamped now onto my acetate, and then we can continue on. I'm just going to pull this up. And since we've been sitting here for just a minute while I restarted the stream and all of that, I'm going to just go ahead and get my embossing powder on this and heat set this, and then we'll stamp on the card front as well. Thank you for sharing this link as well. Carissa is such a pro at this, but technology beats us sometimes. It really does, and I apologize. And maybe I need to look. I don't know if it's because sometimes, like when it's happened in the last few days, it's not for not everyone freezes. And so I don't know if something's going on with YouTube recently. But anyway, so we have stamped in Versamark ink the Dreamer's Forest background stamp here, or cling rubber stamp. And I'm adding some, this is platinum embossing powder over the top. Now, if you'll remember, I have the protective backing still on the back of this acetate. And the reason is that I don't have to worry about that embossing powder then getting on the back of my acetate. So I'm just going to cover this entire thing with the platinum embossing powder. And then I'm going to just flick it off. Okay. So I'm getting as much of the excess off as possible, making sure that I have everything kind of nice and clean. You can give it a pretty firm click or flick there. And then what I like to do before I heat set is I just like to make sure that I get any spots that look like they have extra embossing powder off. So I'm gonna just make sure that if I needed to take a brush to it, I could, but it looks like it did pretty well. You know what, my clouds at the top look like they could use a little more embossing powder. So we'll just do that real quick before we heat set because it makes our life better. Okay, does that look better? Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna give it a good flick and we will clean up our embossing powder again. Okay, so let's do this. I made a mess with embossing powder, so I'm just gonna sweep it off. Okay. Now I am going to heat set this, okay? So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to allow my heat tool to get to full heat. Joy says, I've never embossed on acetate, love learning new techniques. You can do it, but you have to be using a heat resistant acetate. And I love this new acetate from Pinkfresh Studio because it's not only a heavy weight, but it's heat resistant, which means it's great for shaker cards, it's great for card bases, but you can also hot foil and you can heat emboss on it, which is what we're gonna do today. So I'm gonna pick this back up just so I don't burn my fingers. I'm gonna wait for my heat tool to get good and hot, and then I'm gonna start in bursts, taking this to my acetate. I'm not gonna leave it in one place for very long at all. I'm just gonna heat and move, heat and move. And even with heat resistant acetate, you need to make sure that you are kind of not lingering in one place too long. It does take longer to kind of heat emboss correctly on acetate, even when you're using the heat resistant acetate, but you wanna make sure that you're keeping that heat tool moving. And I can see that it's starting to melt now. And I'm hoping, because I didn't try this ahead of time, that that backer isn't gonna melt onto my acetate. I didn't think of that. I probably should have removed it before I took the heat tool to it, but we'll see. This will be like real life testing. We'll do all the things today. Okay, so I can see it melting, so I'm just doing quick spurts of heat to different areas. I'm not staying in one place too long at all, and as soon as it's melted, I'm moving away. Not going back to the places that are already melted, just making sure that I get it melted in all the areas and then moving on. Okay? Let's see, we're almost done. Okay. Let's see, did I get the star up here? I did not. Boom, done. Maybe a little spot right there. Okay, looking for any dark spots. Okay, we should be good. All right. Okay, so now we have this all heat embossed. You can see that there in that platinum embossing powder. And now I'm comfortable. I don't think I melted this on the back. No, I did not. That's great. So I did not melt it on the back, but I didn't leave my heat tool too long in one place. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on the back. I have a little bit, a tiny bit of warping still, but for the most part, I've minimized that, and I'm gonna hold it on my glass mat while it kind of cools down and give it just a second to kind of reshape. Now, I already know, because we had technical difficulties, that we're gonna go just a little bit beyond our hour limit. So if you guys are cool with that, I hope you can stick around. I'm gonna grab, with this still in place, I have an A2 size card base. I decided to do this directly on a card base, but you could do it on a card front as well. I'm going to line it up in that A2 outline that I have, just so I make sure that I'm stamping in the same spot where I stamped on the acetate. I'm going to lay that down, and then I'm going to ink up my stamp with some Misty Coast ink. I'm not going to heat emboss this one because it's going to be the backer. Okay. So we'll do this. Take as long as you need. Well, thank you. I apologize for that. I literally don't know what's happening anymore with YouTube. It just seems to be the bane of my existence recently. I do need to tape this card base closed because you can see it's kind of popping up, and that's not going to make it great for stamping. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do this. Place this right here, and we're going to use our little stamp press tool to press this down. All right. Mariette says it works again. We're actually on a new link, Mariette, so thanks for finding us again. This is one for the books. Okay, that is very light, so I'm going to do this again just so you all can see it a little easier as I do my stenciling. So inking up again with some Misty Coast ink, and I will stamp on this. Are the Create and Connect packages going out today? Oh, that's definitely a question for Kinnery, not for me. Okay. So now you can see that design is on my card front, and eventually I am going to have the acetate panel over the top of the stenciled panel on the card front. So now that we have that done, we can set this aside and we can start our stenciling. All right. It's warm in here, y'all. It's warm. StazOn will work best on acetate. Yes, that's my recommendation for acetate. If you want to stamp on acetate, I recommend StazOn. I just dropped a bunch of stuff too. And man, today's just destined to be one of those days live on YouTube, apparently. Okay, so I'm placing this onto a grip mat. I have to get up for stencils on the ground here to complete my card. Okay, so we have several stencils here to make our scene, and I decided to do kind of like a fall theme, but Carissa style. So we're doing oranges and pinks, and I'm just going to look through the stencil and line this up with my stamped outline. Okay, so I'm just going to look through, get everything lined up, and shift around until I'm happy with my placement. Sometimes you need just a little shift to the side. And once I have it, I'm having a Monday on a Tuesday for sure. Is that what you used? Is StazOn? No. I used Versamark ink because I heat emboss, but if you just want to stamp on acetate, like a black image on acetate, then you'll want to use StazOn. Okay, so for this, we're going to use some peach fuzz. So we'll do this. We'll get a layer of peach fuzz over this entire stencil number 1. And once we get kind of this layer of peach fuzz, then we'll come in with a little bit of apricot and add some like darker areas. So stencil will stay in place. We're going to grab apricot and I'm going to grab a little brush here, because I don't want this everywhere. I just want it in places. Okay. And I've seen like examples of this in some really, really fun palettes. So be sure to check out the Pinkfresh Studio website to look for more inspiration using this Dreamer's Forest. And then of course the packaging has some inspiration in some dark blues and like a midnight forest kind of situation. Okay, so we have stencil number 1 completed. I'm gonna wipe this down and we will lift that up. Okay, so we have that beautiful orange color. Kind of hard to see the outline because I use Misty Coast. Bonnie says, if you don't have stays on, do you just heat set the ink you use? No, that won't work, unfortunately. You have to use an ink. It's kind of like you can't use a Crayola marker on acetate. The same thing is true of like a regular ink on acetate. So you'd have to use like a Sharpie marker. So think of stays on in the same way that you think of a Sharpie marker on acetate. You just can't use a dye ink on acetate and it will never ever dry. There's nothing for it to soak into. There's nothing to grab it, so you just can't use it. So instead you need either to heat emboss on the acetate, or what you would have to do is you would have to use a stays on ink. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's no way to use a regular ink on acetate. It just does not work. That's not how it goes. They're just like oil and water. They don't mix, they don't play. Some have had good experiences with the hybrid ink on acetate, but that's still not my recommendation. I would not recommend it. There's just certain things that you need to have specialty inks for, and acetate is one of those things. Alcohol markers will work on acetate. Yes, that is true. Just like a Sharpie marker would work on acetate. But dye-based inks will never dry on acetate. It just won't happen. Okay? So, sorry to bust your bubble. There's just certain things that you need specific inks for, and embossing or stamping, regular stamping on acetate is one of those. Now you can heat emboss on the acetate just like we did, but you cannot regular stamp. Yes, alcohol markers do work. Yep, because it's like a solvent-based alcohol ink, which is kind of the equivalent of what stays on is. It's kind of like your alcohol marker for stamping. Okay, this little green hill, I'm making this hill green up here, even though I did ballet slipper on the entire stencil except for there. And then I had just a couple more little leaves here. I want to make sure that I got the pink in there. Okay, now, so that's sage on my green hill. I have ballet slipper. I'm going to do a little coral reef here on some of these. Not all the way, but just a little bit of shading here and there, just to bring some interest to it. Okay, love that, love that, love that. Okay. So that's stencil number 2. Ooh, we have beautiful oranges and pinks here. And then let's go to stencil number 3. We're gonna line this up. And for this one, I'm like torn. Do I bring in a green, or do I bring in another orange and pink? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go with the pinks. So we'll go with Coral Reef over this. Friendly reminder to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Yes, the coral is the best. It's one of my favorites of all the Pinkfresh inks. Coral Reef is definitely a winner in my book. And we're gonna go over this entire thing with the Coral Reef. I'm going a little heavier than what I did the shading earlier. I have a large blending brush here so I can cover a lot of area. And once I get that down, I think what I'll do is I'll take a little bit more of the apricot and bring that in to some of this. So we get a little bit of differentiation between the coral reef that we did before and the coral reef we're doing now. Kind of pushes it a little into the red zone, just a bit, but I think it's really like a beautiful look. Okay, let's check our work. Do we like it? Do we not? Oh, I think it's beautiful. Okay, I think there's enough differentiation between all of the colors that we can make this work. Now we'll move on to stencil number 4, and this is the trunks of the trees. So let me get my bearings here. I need to find one that I can kind of get figured out where it lines up, and then I can scooch everything else into place. Here. Let's see. Just kind of taking my time, lining everything up, getting it exactly where I want it. And once I get it, then I will push it down. And let's blend with, let's go with dough, so that there's a little more contrast. I had warm buff pulled out too, but I think I want to do dough. So we won't go super heavy on all of them. We'll do like variations of the dough. Carissa is the color palette queen. Thank you. You're so sweet. Okay, so we're doing varying degrees of the dough here. So some is dark, some is light. We're just letting it do its thing. Lighter hand, firmer hand, all of that kind of dictates how dark and how light you get your various colors. So if I want it to be lighter, I will kind of tap off before I bring it to my project. Let's make sure we have enough ink over all of the lighter areas. And then, doe, a deer, a female deer. Yes, Canary for sure. Carissa, she always sings that song. Okay, so we have our little forest coming together. Now we're going to move to stencil number 5, and this is going to color in all of like the grassy area around our trees. So I'm going to line this up. It's kind of masking off the trees here. You can see. Make sure I get it exactly where I want it before I commit to putting it all the way down. Just kind of inching it around until I get it exactly where I want it. And then I can press it down and hold it in place. If you use StazOn's ink, I suggest using Ranger's Archival Ink Cleaner to clean your stamps. Yeah, that, and I think the Pinkfresh ink will work on that as well too. I mean the Pinkfresh cleaner. Okay, so for this part, we're gonna do eucalyptus over this area. And we're just gonna blend. And maybe this should have been a more yellow green. Maybe that would make it look less springy and a little more fall-like. But this is a gray green, so it's not like a spring green like fresh pear would be or something like that. So has a little more gray in it. So we'll go over this entire area, get it all blended, and then we're gonna take some lush forest. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. It's just one of those days. And we're gonna go around some of the bases just to bring in a little bit of shading and variation in color. So we'll just do this. Around the edges a little bit. And depending on how moody you want this, you could definitely bring in more of the lush forest and go a little heavier handed. But we're gonna do a little bit of just blending here and there with the lush forest, kind of spot blending some areas. It kind of looks more tie-dye when you're done. So we'll do that. Let me grab my lid that just fell on the ground. It's the second time I've had to get up for dropping something. Okay, so let's reveal. Ooh, that's really pretty. Oh, I love that. I love the bits of the lush forest in there. I think that makes it really nice. Okay, now we're gonna do some clouds. So this is stencil 6. It's separated into 2 areas, one that does the cloud and one that does the sky. So just make sure that you don't blend into the area on the bottom as you're doing the clouds. I'm gonna line that up. I'm gonna grab some Ocean Breeze. And with the tiniest, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do Ocean Breeze. Let's do Misty Coast. Let's do Misty Coast and just give a little bit of shading to the bottom of the clouds. Bottom of the clouds, just a little bit of that Misty Coast. And then when you're shading with gray, you just kind of want to go easy and build up if you need to. So we have just that little bit of gray on the bottom of the clouds. And then for the sky, this is the deal with the sky. I think I'm gonna do kind of a pink and orange sky. I don't know. Let's get this lined up first. Okay. Then let's do ballet slipper wherever you are. Okay, so just a little. I'm not even trying to really color in the whole sky. I'm just giving some color near the horizon line and kind of letting it fade off. So just a little bit there. You can see that. And then we'll come in with just a little bit of peach fuzz as well. And just give it a little glow. A little glow up. Okay, there we have it. Looks like sunset. So pretty. Hold on and I'll show it to you. Let me get my blending brushes out of the way because clearly I'm having issues today. Colors came all together. They sure did. They sure did. I'm pleased with it. And it's gonna look really beautiful when we get that embossed panel over the top. So let's take this off of this. Remember when you do embossing stamping using a big background like this, then expect some imperfections because of the shrinkage, sometimes the final result, but it will always be pretty. Okay, so there we have it. Okay. And then eventually, this is going to go right over the top and provide the outline for my trees. So do you see that? That just brings it all together. This might be my fave. Looks like a Japanese fall day. Well, I've never been to Japan on a fall day. Well, I've never been to Japan, period. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right, let's get some foam adhesive. And we might make this after all, even in an hour with all our tech issues. Okay, so I'm gonna cut strips of foam adhesive. Before we went live, I did do a little bit of prep because I knew there were several stencils. I knew we would be embossing on acetate and that would take a little bit of time, but I created a frame out of the double stitched rectangles. And I'm gonna show you this here. This is exactly how I created it. So I took the 2 largest of the double stitched rectangles and I held them together with some Best Ever craft tape, and I die cut it 3 times out of white cardstock, and then I stacked those up. So that's what I have here. And this is gonna feel backwards to you all, but what I'm gonna do is actually build my shaker card from the base up. And I have a reason for this, because I wanna be able to put this exactly where I want it. And if I'm doing it blind by putting this on as a backer, I can't see to line this up. So just stick with me here. This will make sense in just a moment. Okay, it needs a fairy. Donna Marie, my friend, says, you knocked it out of the park, stunning. Well, thank you. We managed to create something beautiful, even with all our issues today, huh? This is amazing. Did you create this, Carissa? Who should we give credit to? Oh, it looks like my internet is being weird again. So hopefully we don't get any problems. Let me go back over to YouTube here and see what's happening. Okay, so far, so good. Yes, I created this. I am creating this live. This is my design for those asking. Okay, we're back in the green again. That's good. And I'm gonna put foam adhesive all along the back of this frame, okay? So I'm going in and adding the foam adhesive. And of course, this has 3 layers of plain white cardstock stacked up where I've cut those frames, okay? So let's do that. And then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna place it directly on top of my card base. So remember, this is a card base that I did all of my stamping and stenciling on. Okay, so then I'm gonna take this and I'm going to remove the backer from all of the foam adhesive. Trust me, I know normally you would do your acetate on the back of your frame. However, I have a plan. Question, thickness of the foam. Standard. I don't know whatever thickness that is. Standard. You could put a double layer if you want to. Okay. And then I'm gonna line this up onto my card base carefully. Get it all even with the edges. And then I will get it pressed down, okay? So now we have our well for all of our shaker bits. We're gonna place this eventually. I'm gonna show you where I'm going with it. We will eventually place this on top and then we'll add another frame on top of that, whatever color we decide on, because I have a few colors here. Okay, but before we do that, we're gonna add some shaker bits. And I have, these are called the Clear with Gold Dust. Carissa, to me, you're the goat. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the foam is just a standard thickness foam. I make it with Fun Foam. I make my own foam adhesive. Oh my gosh, these are going to be, I'm gonna use a lot. So, Kennery, you might have to send me another package because I'm going to dump a whole bunch of this in here. Look at that. You guys, I wish you could see this in person. Oh my goodness, so pretty. I love me an over-the-top shaker card. I'm not afraid to, you know, go big or go home on the shaker fillings. Okay, but here's, we want to make sure it's shaken down, that there's not like a bunch of them piled on top of each other, okay? Then remember, we still have the backer on our acetate because we were protecting it from all the boogies. So we're going to remove that protective backer. And what we'll do, I'm going to just trim like a hair off of each side, okay? So I'm going to grab my trimmer and just the teensiest hair. Okay, now the reason I did not trim the hair off before is because I needed this to stamp in the exact same place on the card base as it is on this acetate front. And if I would have trimmed off before, then my stamping would have probably been a hair off. So I'm literally just trimming like little slivers off of all 4 edges of this, okay? There's a method to my madness, I promise, okay? So little slivers. Question, where are the shaker fillings? What are the shaker fillings called? They are called the Gems, clear with gold dust, and they are linked in the YouTube description below. Or actually they're not, because they haven't been copied over from the last feed. I have them linked in the previous live stream, but we'll copy all those over here once we get. Thank you, Kennery, for posting those. Okay, so now we have this. We're gonna take liquid glue and we're gonna put it along the top of this, okay? So we're gonna go along the top of the frame, just like this, okay? Just like that. Just making sure that I'll have this all secured in. Then I'm gonna take this with the embossing side up and I'm gonna do my best to just get it lined up over the stamped areas beneath. So I'm just looking through it, looking down through the acetate, and then I'm just kind of wiggling just the teeniest bit if I need to. Let me, my head's gonna get in the way for just a second. I just had it done today, my hair, so y'all should be, just check out the color. Tell me if it's good. Okay, so now I'm gonna give this like a minute. For a card like this, sentiments inside would work great, I think. Yes, absolutely, but I'm actually gonna put a sentiment on the outside, so you could do either one. Okay, then on top, we will either put a craft colored frame, which I cut from the same dies when they were adhered together, or we will put an orange frame, or we could put a glitter frame. Oh my goodness. Decisions. Color in your hair is awesome, Carissa. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Your hair is great. I really need to curl it, and it needs to go up as soon as I'm done. I am literally sweating today. It is so hot. And I think I was a little stressed out by all the technical difficulties. Okay, while that's sitting up, we will make a decision about our frame in just a bit. I'm gonna stack up a few white, plain white sentiment pieces from, it's called Rooted, help me, Rooted in Wonder, and we're gonna stamp our sentiment here in just a bit. And let's just leave one without glue, and then we're gonna stack up 3 additional behind, okay? So we have 3 additional behind, and then we'll have to stamp our greeting here in just a moment. And I'm really digging the glitter frame, so we may do like a glitter offset on our sentiment. Question, how was your hairdresser today? You talked a lot again, or did he give you some downtime? He talked a lot. He always talks a lot. We talked about this on my live stream on my channel yesterday. He talks a lot, but it was fine. I was in a feisty mood today. I woke up like just feisty. And so I was ready to talk today. I had a lot that I needed to, unload, and so it was perfect timing. So Kinnery, we talked about my hairdresser yesterday, and I was talking about my, like appointments, and I go to them, and he doesn't like, silence. So he insists on talking the whole time, and he makes me talk the whole time. Someone said, oh, I can fall asleep when I get my hair done. And I'm like, not me, because my hairdresser's talking the whole time. Okay, I'm digging the glitter frame. How do you guys feel about the glitter frame? His name is Jess. He's been my hairstylist now for 32 years, if you can believe that. He's done my hair. Okay, we need a scrap piece of white cardstock because we need to do our sentiment. and we're almost done, y'all, I promise. So I'm gonna just grab a piece of scrap and let's do a powder prep. Yes to glitter. Everybody says yes to glitter. This is the champagne glitter cardstock. It's from the Metallics cardstock pack from Pinkfresh Studio. I love it. There's two, like, there's a more bronzy champagne and then there's this champagne. And this one is my favorite. It's like the lighter, more champagne-y champagne, if that makes sense. Okay. I could talk all day. It's 1:57. We're good. Okay. So I'm going to ink this up in Versamark ink. I'm going to stamp this onto my white cardstock here. Okay. Then we will add embossing powder again. I'm just going to get a new scrap piece of paper because that one has stuff all over it and I'm going to make a mess if I just try to pull it up. So I actually keep paper that I have printed stuff on and that is like didn't print correctly or whatever. And I don't think I got enough ink on this. Okay, well, yep, that seems like today. So let's do this again. Seems like a today kind of thing where I'd have to restamp, right? That's okay. We're gonna make it through. You know, not every card is, you know, great on the first try. So let's ink you up again. And let's stamp you down. Even after the glitch, Carissa will almost finish in time. Almost. Okay. I'm gonna do my best. We don't have a lot of embellishing to do on the top, so I'm hoping we can actually be pretty close. I know Kinnery's probably like, hurry up, I wanna go to bed. Okay. Okay, I don't love the way that's stamped, but we're gonna heat set it, and if I wanna replace it later, we'll see how it embosses out. I might have to redo it off screen, but I'll just glue it right over the top if I have to redo it. That's how you do it, guys. You just finish it online and then you just redo another one and you glue it right over the top of the one you messed up. All right, just letting this heat up before I take it to my cardstock. Okay, I'm heating from the back. Okay. Now we have our sentiment, not platinum embossing powder. I'm going to snip this off the bottom so I don't make a mess when I put it through my die cutting machine. And we'll grab the coordinating sentiments, which has a die for each of the sentiments in the set. And we're going to grab the one that coordinates with the season. Here for you through every season is what it says. And we will line that up, run it through. And then we'll have our sentiment. Kinnery's still dealing with jet lag from her US trip. You guys, I just dropped another thing on the ground, if you can believe it. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna lay that one directly onto the stack that we've already created. So we'll just do a little bit of liquid glue here. Okay. We'll go boop, just like that. Put that on there. I'm gonna grab my block. Where'd it go? He's over here. Actually, before I do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some glue on the back of this stack and offset the glitter sentiment. So just kind of squeezing out some Pinkfresh glue on the back here. And then I'm going to just offset this a hair, like down and to the right. Okay, so you just get like a little taste of the glitter behind it. Then we will add the block on top, making sure I didn't get anything too off there. And while that's kind of doing its thing and marinating there, let's glue our glitter frame on top, okay? So we have the acetate there, and in order to cover up the liquid glue that's beneath my acetate, I'm going to take another frame. So this is the 4th frame that I have. I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back, and I'll add it on top of that acetate piece. So you can see how I built my shaker card from the ground up. And the reason I did that was so I could get the acetate exactly where I wanted it over this stenciled image below. So then I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up, make sure that it's in line here with my frame that's below it. Get it pushed into place. And then I'm going to switch this out. And then we will finish this off by just adding that Here For You Through Every Season sentiment. Holly Brown said, this is just stunning. Well, thank you so much. With the shadow layer, it's 6 layers. 4, 5, 6. It sure is. I just started, I had some scrap white on hand. So I was just like, well, I'll just cut a bunch of these out. I didn't know if I would use them all on the same layering scheme, but I did. And so yes, it's 6 layers. I know that's excessive, but I'm an excessive kind of girl. Okay, so I'm thinking we could either do it here, which is really pretty, or we could do it down here. And I don't know that I want to commit. Having a commitment issue. Okay, let's do a little bit of liquid glue and let's just call it good. I think I'm gonna go lower right. I think I'll go low right. You guys good with low right? Okay, well, which tree do I want to cover up the least of? I want this tree to like be shining and this tree to be shining, like center focal. So I'm just gonna do low right here. Just like that. Lower, excited for the new acetate. Yeah, the new acetate is beautiful. It's a great weight. You guys, we made it. We made it. Look at that. Oh, and it's got that beautiful sound. Oh, there's so much sparkle in this. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love it more than I thought I would. So this is the new Dreamer's Forest and Rooted in Wonder. And these are available now over at the Pinkfresh Studio shop with the new Fables and Forests release. So be sure to check out the release today. There's a blog hop happening for the release, celebrating the release. So we're giving away the entire collection, I believe, over on the Pinkfresh Studio channel. Jamie Greene and Mariette Yntema, you two are the winners for today's $50 gift card giveaways. So you're going to email customer service at pinkfreshstudio.com to claim your prize. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Mariette, your last name, but we did it. We made a card in 1 hour and 5 minutes, y'all, and we had technical difficulties. We chatted at the beginning. I mean, I can't do much more than that. And it's a beautiful card, perfect for fall. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to check out the Fables and Forests release today over on the Pinkfresh Studio shop page. And don't forget to check out that blog hop. I have a video over on my channel, a pre-recorded featuring the flower market, which is another shaker card. But you're gonna wanna, I didn't want you to miss out on this fabulous heat resistant acetate. You'll wanna add that to your card as well. And also, just one last thing, don't forget that free hot foil plate when you purchase $30 or more of the new September 2025 release. You have to add it to your cart from the pop-up before you check out, so just keep that in mind. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications here. Thanks for joining me. Pinkfresh Studio will be live again next week at the regular time, which is 12 p.m. Central, with more inspiration for you then. And I hope you enjoy all the inspiration that's out there on the blog hop. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.